get ready. Now, right off the bat, you may have noticed that the chord structure that we're playing these chords over is a little different from Salsa Volume 1. I'm throwing something new at you. I'm throwing an alternate turnaround. Look towards the bottom of the screen there. You'll see those 12-bar blues don't look quite like they did in Salsa Volume 1. There's an E flat. See that? Okay. Root 5, 3, 7, 9, right? Remember from Salsa Volume 1, if the 7th is present, you've got to call this note the 9th. You can't call it the 2nd, right? And then we go to a D7, sharp 9. That's from the blues chorus. Okay, and then it goes back to the original. G7 plus 5. And we studied that at the very beginning of Salsa Volume 1. So that's the different chord structure that we're going to use in this lesson.
In this next section, we're going to look at a video excerpt from the lesson where we're using passing tones in the creation of a left-hand walking bass.
Now, passing tones belong to that wonderful category of things in life that actually have a name that sound like what they do. It's always convenient. Passing tones are derived from notes that are not necessarily in the chord that you're currently playing. What do you mean by that? Well, we're going from C to F, right? And the notes of C, that's C minor 9, right? Ooh, that's pretty muddy down there, but those are the notes. Now, I could play a line going from C to F if I'm not going to do the pogo stick bass line. If I'm going to do notes that are in C minor 9, I could do something like this. Right, and that would sound okay. Sounds all right. After a while, it gets a little boring because it becomes predictable. So watch this. Here's another alternate. Now that F sharp definitely does not belong in the family of C minor 9, right? But why does it work? Here's why, and I've said this before in lessons. The strongest thing we have in music is...
Here's an excerpt where we're still studying the left-hand bass line. This is something that really brings the music alive. We'll be studying how to use something called the rhythmic kicker in the creation of a fat and furious bass line.
The rhythmic kicker. This is a simple little goodie that just gives a little extra kick. Watch for notes that are very short and placed right ahead of some of the walking bass notes. Listen to this. You hear those little kicker notes? Or those guys really serve to kick the rhythm along. It's kind of a subtle technique, but very effective. Now, to come up with the notes for the rhythmic kickers,
we're going to move ahead in the lesson now. Specifically, we're going to be studying the right hand and something that everybody wants to know about, how to create a solo. Check it out.
Now, in Salsa Volume 1, we looked at a little bit of right hand techniques. We looked at moving in sixths. Remember that? That was a great technique. In fact, you'll see that show up in the right hand when it's soloing in the main song that we use in this lesson. Let's start out by playing that entire solo a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now in the full lesson, of course, we go through the entire song in slow motion. But since this is an overview, let's jump ahead. In this next section, we're studying a really important foundation of salsa music, the underlying pulse.
Now in Volume 1 of this salsa course, we talked about how blues music and Latin music have different underlying pulses. Blues music swings because it has an underlying pulse of 3, and Latin music has an underlying pulse of 4. Now, just to recap, let me show you how the blues has an underlying pulse of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See how it's swinging? Okay, now let's straighten the pulse out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, have a Latin feel. And then you can throw in some signature Latin things like rocking the chords back and forth, like we studied in Volume 1. But you know what? That's just icing on the cake. It's that underlying pulse of 4. Just a subtle thing like that.
This has been a very quick overview of the piano lesson titled Salsa for Piano and Keyboard, Chapter 2. If you'd like to see more, go to playpianotoday.com. In this website, there's a wealth of online piano and keyboard lessons that you can dig into right away, including this lesson.